Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving me a screen. My name is Gawel Solosky. I'm from Bengal University. I will talk today about cotton fermentation. To hydrogen. What is dark fermentation? Dark fermentation is a special case of anaerobic digestion, which stops on acetogenesis. In this step, beside acids, on gaseous phase, most product is hydrogen. Therefore, since we need a renewable source of hydrogen due to the depletion of conventional metals, we then try to develop industrial possible and industrial profitable method for hydrogen production. One of the method is dark fermentation, because dark fermentation on these three steps from pretreatment of feed into the digestion of substrate to by hydrolysis and converting the substrate to hydrogen and acids. The most desirable and biologically possible in natural way is acetic pathway, leading to yield 33%. No, but it's very hard. In case of cotton, the cotton is built only from cellulose. Therefore, cotton seems to be ideal plant, ideal ways to check how would behave the substrate which doesn't contain lignin on hemicellulose to dark fermentation. The trouble of this is that cotton is very hard structure and cleaved, so needs pretreatment because alone bacteria that didn't want to eat very much. So we had to first pretreat it. We don't repeat our bacteria with one laboratory, so not like latest research from Vienna that they modified bacteria and they overlap this acidic pathway, leading to higher production. So we decided to pretreat it. The cotton was pretreated using hydrochloric acid as developed by earlier to the methane production as proposed by Taher from Borås University in Sweden. So we repeat this method. We get, in case of because we get even in pretreated case and little microaeration, because we obtain even 107 liters per gram, which is quite high, but in not pretreated, so raw material, so only for checking without blocking methanogenesis, we get only 15 gram per milliliter in case of microaeration of 1.6 milliliters per hour. In the case of the pretreated, the required microaeration was lower, only 0.08 milliliters per hour. So therefore, we should discern that in case of pretreatment more inoculum, the Dark fermentation is less sensitive to microaeration, but still works. Therefore, we need to then to repeat as conclusion, we need to make stable, because after the treatment was very short, how to long. After this, we check that if we repeat this treatment of Villachea layer, it continues. It can be also used by mixing with other substances. But this experiment was only on clean cotton. Therefore, it shows that in process maybe, however, it was by theory, all this the perfect, because no lignin. It some little bit is needed to be overcoming. So it was the point of our research, and it discerned that in case of cotton, we need very, very complex, very well-designed pretreatment to obtain glucose from the cotton material. And this is the trouble of cotton, because in theory, for only casing for glucose containing, it could produce up to 21 grams per kilogram of waste, so very high. But in fact, the trouble is that cotton is very unlikely to be soluble, and even in concentrated acid, which is corrosive, is still troublesome. So this was the result of our experiment. Thank you very much for listening to me.